Welcome, everybody, to another episode of Circle of the Earth Fellowship. We have a gracious guest joining us tonight, Sean Griffin from Kingdom in Context. So, welcome, everybody, and welcome to our guest. Man, it is giving me a lot of lag for some reason. Hopefully, it is going to be switching over at any point. Sweet. There we go. I think it's finally catching up. Or not. Okay, yeah, that one's good. Just give me a second, guys. I'm checking to make sure that we're still live on both places because it's giving me a little bit of error. Okay, we're over there. Okay, sweet. We're good over there. And so yeah, let's welcome everybody to the panel. We'll do a little housekeeping and then we'll get into it. So without further ado, we'll jump over first to Maggie, Country Kid. Nice to see you, dear sister. How you doing? Welcome to the show.
Good. It's good to be on.
Absolutely. And you haven't been here for a while, but we hope you're doing good. I know it can be crazy and during this time of year especially. So anyone that gets the opportunity to come on, we're thankful for. We're gonna come back to you, Sean. We're gonna go over to Marsha. Marsha, welcome, sister.
Hi, everyone. Back again.
Back again.
Oh, I was going to be this with my glasses on, but my glasses broke. I'm trying to be cousin
would you try to do that? Your glasses broke?
Yes, because
dang.
I tried to be cousin it with the Kingdom in Context blanket, but whatever.
Lesson learned. Sweet.
Lesson learned.
Welcome,
I blew
sister.
it.
We got our other brother here, Robert. Welcome, brother.
Hello. Shalom, everyone. It is a nice looking fleece, though, too.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
Sweet. Well, welcome, Robert, and we'll jump over to Kyle. Kyle, welcome, brother. How you doing?
Good. Good to be here with you all. Also, good to be here with you, Sean. Good to be on the same panel with you.
Oh yeah, nice to have you here.
Yeah.
Appreciate all your positive contributions in the live chats.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Sweet, and... Oh, go ahead.
Sorry, I was just gonna say your whatever you want to call it, ministry, I guess some would say. It really is a true blessing.
Thanks. Some would say cult, but you know, I'm not over here making Kool-Aid. I should, you know what I should do? I should have someone make me like a.
Make you a what?
A Kool-Aid. I'll go get you some Kool-Aid.
I think I should hire somebody to make me like a CGI Kool-Aid man busting through a brick wall every time someone calls me the cult.
Yeah, or we like to do we like doing something like,
how dare you?
Yes.
There you go. Yeah, it's funny because cults will require you to believe what they believe. They usually have some sort of physical location or compound that they ask you to be a part of and to move and donate your time, money, and effort to them for their benefit. And they usually don't let you leave in a peaceful manner. I don't live in any of those ways. Like I don't require anyone to believe what I believe. We don't have a physical presence. We don't have a church building. We don't have a commune. We don't have anything like I literally just live in a town in Wyoming, and we get on the internet and try to teach the Bible in context. And if people want to leave, they don't want to watch us, I don't call them and harass them and say you can't stop watching us. You know what I mean? Like it's just the most absurd claims that we get. People have claimed I'm in the Illuminati. People have claimed that I'm a Freemason, a part of the military-industrial complex. People have claimed that I am somehow a shill. And other people are now starting to claim I'm literally demon possessed because I like to smile on screen. So I'm just like,
I'm being a heretic too.
Hey,
not heretic.
Yeah, well, heretic is like low in the totem pole of insults.
Yeah, well, and you're apostate, right? You're apostate. We need to excommunicate. You know, like that's like you don't excommunicate people. You don't call people apostates because they disagree on theology or eschatology or whatever it is, right? But on that, the other sides, it tends to be those terms and those quote unquote insults or slander. Really, is thrown out so quickly, and it's. You know, it's you know, like the Jort Wars, right? I don't know. I know you you had some conversation with Special Boy there, but you know, it's interesting. You know,
This might get flagged. See my Illuminati signaling.
Well, like how you know, just you know, you experienced Jim Bob, right? And you saw what happened with Owen Benjamin and that type where they have to kind of go to the, well, God told me to destroy you, right? Like, you are evil, you are bringing deception, so I must destroy you, right? Because what I believe is good and what you are doing is evil. So yeah. It's unfortunate.
No, I've seen that in some of the debates I've done recently with certain types of certain crowds. I'll see in the live chat, people are saying, you know, this Sean guy is dangerous because he's growing. People are listening to him, and his channel's growing, so we must destroy him and take down his message. And I'm just like, bro, you know, what makes you different than YouTube censoring political stuff and censoring medical information? Like what, you know? But again, these are the same people that don't even realize they're defending Catholic doctrine.
Yeah.
You know, they just like they're literally, you know, a spear away from being, you know, someone that would be sent in the Crusades. Like they're defending it so hard. They're copying and copying and simping for the Catholic doctrine so hard they don't even realize that's the Protestant Reformation concept is literally just Catholic light.
Yep.
It's not like there was a big change. They still kept like 98% of their beliefs.
Yeah, and I see that a lot within even the, you know, the different various Torah communities. You know, I think community is something we should celebrate, and definitely you're growing one, because you know how many people I've met that, you know, for tons of different videos, tons of different debates that you've been a part of either on your channel or other channel. Like I've seen the impact. I've met people, you know, like you can look on the community app that you have and literally see people. Like I have a person right down the street that I want to meet, but it's kind of a awkward, like, hey, I watch the same YouTube channel as you, you know, so but but so it's cool to see that growth in, you know, in you and in the communities and communities in general of people who are seeking the truth. And Owen Benjamin said this really cool thing the other day, and I'm paraphrasing it, but basically it's like, well, there's so many denominations because there are groups that like were like, well, no, we're not going to go any further. This is Christianity. And then you have another group kind of separate and say, no, this is the new, like we found something that doesn't mesh with Scripture. And so it keeps on going and keep on going. And like, what is it now? What are the things that are popping up? What are the communities that are popping up? Is Torah-based communities, people going back to Leviticus and Deuteronomy and the Torah and seeing, and definitely people who've come to the have put away the heliocentric model and now take the Bible literally and take God at his word on creation. And so they're like, oh, well, if I have to take this seriously, I have to take all this other stuff seriously too. So it puts it in a whole different mindset. And again, that's why we're having all these Torah communities popping up within the Christian community. And of course, we're it's like we're kind of you being the first one through the wall, right? You get a lot of brunt of the of the obstacle, right? And so we appreciate your graciousness, Sean. I know that doesn't go over your head, and coming on here and helping our community grow, and we really do appreciate the graciousness you've shown us all these times that you have. So I want to start out with that, but before we kind of get into the topic of tonight, which is we're gonna get to pick Sean's brain about the KIC conference, the virtual conference on YouTube. We'll show y'all some links for that, the playlist, and then a little bit later after that, we're going to be talking about the Days of Noah animated series that that Sean and his people are working on, and get some updates and information, and maybe ask some questions. And then at the end, we'll have a little bit of, question, talking, discussion. And yeah, it should be fun. So let's do the housekeeping really quick. And then we will get into it. Let me pull that up for everyone. Perfect. So first of all, I want to...
Question:
Oh, what's
Are
up?
we gonna do the Sefer spin on
Yes.
this?
So, will someone in chat for me start taking down all the names of the people that are in chat? Can someone do that for me so that I can add them to a will and we can spin that
Cool.
in just a minute?
Okay.
So make sure
Angel,
if you're
calling you.
if you're in here, please make sure that you say something in chat so that someone can grab your name to add it to the will. We're gonna do a spinning a little bit on. We're gonna do a spinning of the of a wheel, and we're gonna give a Sefer Bible out for someone. We're not saying that the Sefer Bible is the definitive source for your scripture. It is one resource that we have available. And you should definitely check out them all, and use discernment, and use that discernment to read
take the
those scriptures. Yeah. Yeah. So first of all, I want to shout out to Take on the World. Chris and Liz Bailey allow us to come on their platform, and again, another community that we don't agree on all the same theology and eschatology and doctrine, but that's okay because we all look at each other as brothers and sisters of the Heavenly Father, and that we're all true seekers looking for those puzzle pieces and willing to in peace and love share those with one another so that we can all grow and have a bigger understanding of the world and the spiritual reality that we all exist in. So we want to shout out them like we always do, and we also have our channel. It's growing. We're at about 120,000 subscribers. So thank you for all the recent subscribers. It keeps trickling up, and we really do appreciate that. So yeah. And then, like always, we like to read off the things, but I'm actually going to do that at the end just so that we can kind of get more into it. And of course, I want to shout out Sean's channel, very much growing, so many videos, so much content to check out. So if you're not subscribed, check the link in the description below. You'll find it there. If you're not already subscribed, and check out all of his content. And then, of course, we'll go over this a little bit later about the virtual conference. And if you're not subscribed to his separate channel, the Days of Noah TV channel, or maybe you didn't know exactly where to find it, this is where you find it. There also is a link in the description below. Subscribe to that, so as he comes out with this series, you'll get notifications and make sure you don't get it passed by. So awesome. And then last few things, Discord, again, link in the description. Check us out if you want to join us in our after shows or in the community in general. We shall share tons of different content creators, as well as memes and words of advice and gardening and all types of sorts of information. So check that out if you're interested. We do have merch if you're willing and wanting to support the channel. So go check the link again. And then like we're in such a blessed day, guys, where we have on our fingertips literally all the resources we can want to learn about Scripture, to learn about the Father and His ways. And one of those that I personally use is Bible Gateway. I also love Bible Hub. They have the lexicons, the concordances, great different all the different. I can't think of the word, but all the different things. There we go.
Yeah.
And, yeah, those. And then we also like sacredtext.com. You can actually get all the different books of scripture there, including the book of Enoch, the book of Jubilees. And eventually here soon, when me and my wife get our schedule a little bit more, and for those who would also like to join, we're going to start reading the 12
Patriarchs.
Yeah, the testaments of the 12 patriarchs. Yes, sir. So look forward to that. Sweet. All right, that's all the housekeeping that I need to do. I can get rid of this. And
Did you want? Did you want
Get out
one
of
of
here.
us in here to take down some
Yes,
names?
yes, that's
Oh,
what I was asking.
okay. I
But
guess
if not, I will try to do it live here in a little bit. It's a little hard to copy and
I
paste.
don't
Okay,
know.
but we'll get to that.
All
So anyway, so let's kind of start it off. We'll start it off, and we'll kind of come back to that, and I'll start grabbing names as we're talking. But so Sean, this was your first year of doing a virtual conference. I'm sure you learned a lot. I'm sure there was a lot of hiccups in the road, as any type of putting anything like that on. Sending videos, all the different troubles that could possibly come up. So, but of course, we're very appreciative that you did bring all these great creators, all these great names together into a place where, you can kind of just get a water hose of information, similar to the water hose that, Greg Locke in the shared with everyone during the debate. But anyways, yeah. So yeah, kind of, share what you would like about kind of the experience of making KIC happen, and then I'd like to get into like the actual, some of the creators and things that did happen. So, yeah, if you'd like to share that experience with us.
Yeah, well, I probably started back in February as far as, planning and talking with certain creators and everything. A little bit of misunderstanding with one of the creators, unfortunately, just as far as the type of content that we needed for the conference, but hopefully we want to include them in the future. And then, but at the same time, the people that did show up, most of them, I asked, if you have the option to do a live or to do a pre-recorded video. And I trust everyone that I invited. I trusted them enough to not review their content ahead of time. It's not like I scoured through their content to make sure that they weren't going to say anything wild. So because these are people that we know. We watch their channels. We see them putting out solid stuff for years. They're dedicated to their own ministries and their own channels. Some of them are pastors of congregations and fellowships. And so on that regard, it made it kind of easy for me as far as being able to trust the content they would submit to me, or if they wanted to do a live stream, trust that I could let them go live on my channel. Because, that's always the...
Kind of like if you go to a potluck with Torah people, like you don't need to like look at all the ingredients of the food.
Yeah. Yeah, so it was kind of that was easier, I should say, in that regard. But just working with behind the scenes as far as coordinating times, schedules, and everything, that takes a lot of time. Since it was spread out over like 6 or 7 months, because I gotta try to get a head start on it, and I didn't keep track of like how many hours involved, but it took some time as far as it's never just one or two messages to say, hey, I'd like to invite you to the conference. You can speak for an hour to 2 hours on the topic of your choice. You pre-recorded or live. You want to? Yes, cool. All right, see you then. It's never that easy, right? There's always like follow-up questions and details and issues and scheduling and all that kind of stuff. And and then some people ended up having to travel last minute and had to change their presentation or just different things like that. So you just try to accommodate for people. It got to the point, actually, because we were also simultaneously working on Days of Noah, that I was preparing to have a baby, and I was moving homes. And since my wife was in her third trimester, her 9th month, she couldn't really help me packing and moving. And so I was just doing all this by myself, and I actually didn't present at the conference myself. So, but thankfully we had like enough other presenters that we could fill most of the days, and it was 7 days. I know that some conferences just go for 2 or 3 days, but I just wanted to give people 2 to 3 videos a day just so they could have stuff to digest. Because like you said, the people that were speaking, they're well studied in the Word. They've been doing their ministries, most of them, for quite some time. And they bring a lot of meat to the table. So this isn't like they're not bringing light, fluffy hors d'oeuvres. Yeah. So definitely, I didn't want to overwhelm people with like 7 presentations in one day. Because I want to give people time to like chew on what they just heard, because they were all very meaty presentations.
Yeah, Absolutely. And yeah, of course, with, like I said, putting those things together, you have those difficulties. But I think the groups that you did get, the people, the videos, the content that you did get together for the virtual conferences was really awesome. And like you said, each one was jam packed and, different perspectives, and that's great. So coming up, I know that you never really talked about doing. I guess you've kind of dabbled into it, but never really were like, that sounds like a possibility. But do you think like maybe as child gets older and do you have any? I guess I could state it like this: Do you ever have a desire to do like a take on the world? Your own kind of conference where you get those to come together into a physical place, or is your aim to going to be more virtual, for the future?
Yeah, if I do an in-person, I've not taken it off the table to do an in-person conference, but it would definitely, it's not going to be in the next couple of years. Let's just put it like that, and it would definitely be a situation where it would have to, just the nature of what we do. Like I would want it to be in a facility that we could afford to actually have security there as well to ensure like the safety of everybody, because the things that we talk about trigger a lot of people.
Oh yeah.
On all sides of the table, and I would just want to make sure it would be in a legit venue. With the option for potential security for the events, and that in itself is a big, it's a big haul. And so I'm not in that place in my life right now. I'm not opposed to it in the future, but just not right now.
Yeah, sweet. Yeah, because I think a lot of people, they're definitely, since Take on the World kind of wasn't able to do, because of the whole beer bug thing, that kind of got squashed. And people do enjoy the virtual conferences. They still get that out, but there is something about being able to, see those faces in person and hug and shake those hands. And there's something magical about that. We unfortunately didn't get to see, much of the stuff from Beartaria, but, Owen Benjamin's doing something very much like that. And I love that idea. I love those, the coming together and all that. But as much as I am a bear, I love the community. It's hard to want to go to somewhere where, what I really care about is the scripture, right? Is the Torah, and talking about these things and talking about, the world and the events that are going on and how that is tied to scripture. And one thing I do love about Owen is his wanting to destroy, victim mentality, where, it's on you, right? And all these different elements. And so, that's why I give it to other people that make content, because it's like, you really are trying to build something, and it's not for you, it's for other people. You're trying to, share your puzzle pieces, and you got a lot of them. And it's always unfortunate when you get that backlash, when you get those people attacking. So that being said, going to a physical thing, it's something that I'm excited to have the prospect of doing and meeting people. And it's a big prospect, right? Because I'm married. I live in Utah, which maybe East Coast stuff, but when it comes to anything East Coast, it's like it's almost impossible to imagine me being in a van with 4 children and my wife and trying to drive all those miles.
Yeah.
And it's too much, and it's like
See,
right around
that's
Sukkot. Go ahead.
right, and that's another issue, is the fact that there's so many people spread across the country that watch us. It becomes, if you just do one centralized events, somebody's going to be traveling great distance, like you just said. Somebody's going to miss out because their family can't make it. So I have thought about that, and I would love to do like 3 events strategically placed across the country to make it easy for people over the course of the year. But I'd also love to do just a full-on debate with a Mormon apologist, literally right across the street from the Mormon temple, downtown Salt Lake City, and then invite the entire Mormon temple over to the debate. I would love to do that in the future, but I've reached out to several Mormons and I can't really get a response email yet. So we'll see what happens.
Nice. Well, you know, I'm right here in town, man. If you need someone to hold a camera, I'm just saying, like, I would love to be there. And it's kind of cool. It's just kind of off topic from what you're talking about. I actually work with three guys that basically I hired to be my workers, and they're all ex-Mormon, right? And so we get to have these really good conversations about, like, you know, what led them out and what, you know, kind of issues they have, and not only, you know, individually, but with the at a micro level with the church itself. And so I hear a lot of things, and a lot of, you know, as nice as a veneer they have, you know, from the outsiders looking in on their lives and their communities, there's a lot of rough stuff behind the scenes that, you know, unfortunately don't get brought to light. And I feel like a lot of people kind of get on the deception side of it when, you know, coming into it, unfortunately. But right now we're celebrating Hanukkah. We got our dear brother and sister, they're a married couple, Francisco and Carla, here with us in our house, and we're, you know, celebrating our form of the Festival of Lights, or Hanukkah, the dedication. And you know, they grew up, they were Mormon for 20 years, and they came out of Mormonism, and now they're in Torah, and they're biblical cosmologists. You know, we're talking we're talking to them about the whole, you know, the how dare you doctrine, if you feel me. So and so yeah, it's beautiful to see people, you know, passing those barricades and coming to it. So kind of back to the conference. So you know, I get the, you know, this is years out, right? Because guys, think about it. As awesome as that sounds, how hard it is, you know, how much time you have to put into a virtual conference where a lot of the work is done right by the people that are providing the content. There's still all of that logistics and planning and scheduling to make something like that happen. So of course, something that's a physical location, which requires all the necessities of human life and, you know, and more, is, you know, a grander tie. So we're not, you know, we got a couple years of that. So can we say next year we're going to have a 2024 virtual conference? Is that something in the books?
Yeah, I definitely plan to renew the conference next year and do a 2024 virtual conference.
Nice.
I think it'd be great.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm sure you learned a lot from last one, and, you know, kind of use those learning moments to, like, you know, dial it in, because, you know, first times, you know, going through the walls always a little rough, right? Just like, look at my YouTube channel, right? Like how many technical problems that we've had. It's always rough going through it, but, you know, like, that's part of the process, and that's part of the fun. So sweet. So excited for the 2024 virtual conference, guys. You heard it from it here. So
you heard it here first.
Yeah, you heard it here first. So make sure that you're subscribed to Sean's channels to get that updated. They also have Facebook and all that stuff.
Anyway, writing down names. You got me doing a job through this show, you know.
Just a little bit, you know, you're just helping a little bit. It's like you're giving food to the poor, right?
Man.
You're giving Bibles to the wanty. Sweet. Well, I appreciate you.
I'm gonna throw numbers in a hat, and I'm gonna pick one. So.
Sweet. No, do it. Sweet. That sounds awesome.
Oh, I will once I, you know, but I gotta write down a name.
Yeah, no worries. Sweet. Okay, so I guess let's jump over to the animated series. So a lot, you know, we've had some official trailers. We've had the tease during the virtual conference. You know, right at the end of the conference, we got that a little taste of what we got to look forward to. And so I know, like, as we talked about with the virtual conference, guys, that's just getting other people to, you know, have a subject and talk and send that in and, you know, be a part of that conference. we're talking about animated series, guys. This is on multitudes more difficult than, you know, a virtual conference. So again, we appreciate you taking on these endeavors to, you know, share this content with us. We really do. So yeah, if you'd like to, you know, give us some details, some information about what's going on with the series so far.
Well, we did an exclusive preview at the end of the virtual conference on October 22nd, and that basically, it was showing a kind of a first cut, if you will. It wasn't the final cut of episode 1, because we were still tweaking some things with the final cut and some added scenes that weren't shown at the preview, if you will, for the conference. And so that's what we've been working on, but some of that's been delayed because I just had a child, so it's you know, that some of these things have been delayed, but we're still actively working on getting that shirt up as well. Drew Winter is from Green Pond Creative, and he's the one that is our lead animator, and he is helping. He's been great as far as going through the learning curve of doing a project like this, considering that there's just less than a handful of us working on this thing. As far as, like, you know, actively working on it, because we hire some people to work on certain aspects of it, but Drew and Gerald have done the most as far as drawing the artwork and helping with some animations, and Drew's trying to pick up more of the animation side, because it just makes it that much easier to be able to have a drawn product and then start to animate it immediately, as opposed to then sending it off to another department, another person who's trying to animate it and get back to you on, did they understand your instructions correctly? Do they see the vision for that scene? You know, that kind of stuff. There's a whole process there of trying to get my original vision in the books that I wrote onto a drawn, you know, artistic representation, and then get it moving into, you know, its own little series that can keep true to what I saw. And it's because, you know, I love reading, I love arts, I love music, I love movies and entertainment, that kind of thing. I mean, growing up, obviously, you know, watched TV shows, cartoons, animes, and movies just like anybody, but I dug into them, like, in a sense where I'm thinking about, how did they shoot that scene? You know, what was the camera angle like? What was the lighting like? What did they go through to get that camera shot? If they did that camera shot, how that camera shot in that scene added to the story, or was it nonsense? Did it not add to the story? All these types of things, you know, the average person may not be thinking of as they're just sitting there eating popcorn watching a movie. And my brain is like, I struggle to enjoy a movie for the first time because I'm picking it apart so much. I'm thinking about how it was made, how it was written, you know, what are the Easter eggs, whether it's symbolism, evil symbolism, or good or whatnot. So that's where, you know, I've an amateur author. I've self-published 2 books in the past, and then I wrote this trilogy. It was called Days of the Deluge, was the original name of the trilogy, and it was originally about the 100 years leading up to the flood of Noah. But what I did with the series is I'm going to retrofit that like trilogy, which I never published. Yeah, and we're gonna expand it to be the 400 years leading up to the flood, plus 300 years after the flood. So our goal with the series is to make 8 full seasons, approximately 16 episodes per season, and that way you get a total lifespan, or a total series spanning 700 years of Noah's life, 400 years before the flood, 300 years after, so that you get all the way from watchers who've taken wives and they're having offspring, they're creating chimeras, giants are there, all the way up to the flood and all the drama that ensues, and then after the flood,
wars,
rebuilding
all the wars and destruction and death leading up to the deluge, right? So you're gonna have some of those epic, you know, kind of Lord of the Rings-esque, you know, battle scenes, and, you know, kind of events, and, you know, all that good entertainment.
Yeah, and then the goal is towards the end of the series, season 7 and 8 would be after the flood, leading up to the Tower of Babel. So you get to see the rise of Nimrod. You get to see how they came together at the tower, and then it would end with the destruction of the tower and the dispersion of the people. And so the reason why I feel like that's such an important time period to focus on is because I feel like we're watching so much of that being replayed in our current culture today, and how that will be replayed until the second coming of Christ.
Yeah.
Because the earth is cyclical, events, cultures are cyclical. Like if Ecclesiastes 1:9 says that nothing's new under the sun, everything's been done before. So this is going to be a situation where, you're going to see some unique things before the flood and after the flood. And a lot of people who aren't familiar with history, they might be surprised about some of the things that we include in this, kind of like you're going to see in the trailer. We do have Vimanas. We do have what might refer to today as advanced technology, but it's just technology is simply knowing how to use the creation in a clever way.
Yeah.
And so the stories that we have from the ancient scriptures tell us that rebellious watchers, these are angels of heaven, they were sent to the earth to help mankind govern themselves as man began to grow in numbers. But 200 of them decided they wanted to actually abandon that initial mission, and they wanted to take wives and create their own offspring that became an antagonizer and an enemy of mankind instead of them supposed to be helping mankind. So you've got this incredible drama that unfolds. It is the most amazing story. The Bible is more interesting than any book you've ever read, I promise, if you just believe what it actually says.
How dare you?
It's an amazing book.
How absolutely double dog dare you for saying
How
that, right?
dare you?
Because literally that's so true. And it's like, if you take God for his words, if you take the Father at his words, then, of course, where he uses the similes and metaphors, and that he gives you a like or an as, right? So it's that's not lost upon us. But if you take it literally, the world that is ascribed by the Catholics in their entertainment, right? I think of like the End of Days and Stigmata and Bless the Child. I'm not sure if you're familiar with any of those, but they always have this, very similar eschatology when it comes to how they kind of present the, the evil one and stuff like that. So I do think it's very important to show that character, like something that I'm right along with you is, this Nimrod character, Gilgamesh, Apollyon, about it, whatever you want to name him, right? He has at least 70 of them, is such an important character. And I feel like with our, with the society as it is and all the black pills available out there for people's consumption, just conveniently laid around on YouTube, kind of this nihilistic, we're at the end, everything's going, bad, you know what I mean? And I'm not saying there's not corruption and all that, but I say all that to kind of bring up is like this showing, hey, we know who this character is. You don't need to guess. You don't need to think it's every, because like presidents, right? Like I'm sure you've seen it. Lots of people, every United States president is elected. It's like, oh, they're the Antichrist. Oh, nope, they're the Antichrist. And it's kind of this rolling joke at this point. And it happens within the Catholic Church, right? You have those people that say, oh, the Seven Hills, that's Catholicism only, right? And you see that, oh, this Pope, he's the one. Oh, this Pope, he's the one. And so it's almost like we're playing, Russian roulette with these theories of when the end times is going to come. So I appreciate you hitting up to the Nimrod point, because that definitely is a character. And just, knowing the story as I do, you got so much loaded up to this character, ending in that 7th and 8th season. And so I could see how you can connect all of this behavior, all of these equipment and technology and information with this character able to do what he did, So that's very exciting to think about, and exciting to see come. So awesome.
Yeah, so many people there's been a theory that's been propagated by some folks that this community may be very well aware of, and it's this idea that around the late 1800s, early 1900s, that the rebellious angels were let out of Tartarus, and that that's why we have an explosion of innovation, technology, and what is modernly referred to as a first world nation type of civilization. But honestly, guys, it's just a masking. It's not, to me, like if you do believe that Enoch and Jubilees are scripture, then the storyline is that the rebellious angels who took wives and had offspring called Nephilim, that they were locked away and will not receive will not get out again until they stand before Christ in judgment.
Mm-hmm.
And so people will say, well, how in the world did you have like this hockey stick of innovation? If you looked on a graph, you would see like a hockey stick of innovation where suddenly people are flourishing with all these inventions and ideas and technology, and they do that within the span of 120 years. And I'm like, guys, if you read Enoch and Jubilees, one of the angels that was a part of that 200, he did not get locked up. He's still the one we generically refer to as Satan, that roars around seeking whom he may devour. His name was Azazel. He's the one that is still here all throughout Scripture. He's just as smart as all the other ones. He knows just as much of that technology, how to encourage mankind to start using it, innovating it, just as all the other ones. And if you actually do a deep dive into history, you'll see they were using much of this technology throughout history. It just wasn't for the average person. So the only difference between the last 120 years versus the rest of history is that in the past, the elites, the rulers, had access to that type of stuff where the average person did not. Because there was, in most kingdoms in the past, if it was a corrupt kingdom, the kingdom was like this is going to be, some people are going to knee jerk when I make this comparison, but just bear with me. It's a loose comparison. Kingdoms are like a one-man controlled communism. Okay? Whereas communism may have a Politburo, they may have a council, they may have a group of people, the death panel, if you will, that actually control economy and commerce and industry and resource and healthcare and that kind of things. Of course, they were just the revolutionary squad that took over whomever ruled in the past, promising the people they would give them stuff. And then, of course, once they took over, now they're in control, and all the people are still just a cog in the wheel. Yeah. But in a kingdom, the king owns everything, all the resources, all the land, all the people. And if you're a serf or you're a part of that kingdom, you want to find you usually in pagan kingdoms, you would be born into nobility. But if you weren't born into nobility, you were a peasant class. And so there was always a class system involved in kingdoms. And so that's not the way that the creator of heaven and earth, Yahweh, the Almighty, that's not the way he runs his kingdom in the same way as far as what access people in different layers of the kingdom have. He allows people to come to his house and worship him. He allows people to step before his presence if you follow his instructions. He allows people to own property, to flourish, to grow, to become an elder if you're faithful. So in an ancient monarch, in a kingdom in the past, they owned everything, controlled everything, top-down authority. So it was very easy for them to keep all the technology that would overthrow their own kingdom. They kept it for themselves. But in the modern times, you have a very different sociological structure, especially with a quote-unquote democratic representative republic where the average person has some sort of say, even if it's just at a local level. And without getting into a grand political discourse as far as the difference between the federal elections and local elections and how we believe federal elections have been absconded and stolen from the people for decades upon decades. The point is, there is a way that people who are considered peasant class can interact with the quote-unquote ruling class and overthrow them in certain scenarios in a peaceful change of power. In a monarch, it was always a violent death or a mutiny or a poisoning or a backstabbing or something, or a straight up war, right? And this is where communism enticed the peasant class to revolt in revolution. So communism just played upon a traditional system in order to get them to think that they could step into a ruling class. Communism was literally the ancient system of Babylon.
Yeah.
There was a top-down ruler. It was a king, an emperor, and he ruled everything, controlled everything, and allowed people to have it as he wished. So when it comes to technology, why would they give you the ability to fly a Vimana, which you could crash into one of their palaces, if you're a peasant who hated them? Of course they're not. They're going to there's a whole series of gatekeeping.
They're going to give you a donkey and a cart.
Right. So because in all the levels of class in between you and the peasant, there was all these nobles and certain dukes and all the intermediate class of intermediate rulers that had all proven themselves through a series of gatekeeping and verification that you could be trusted to be anywhere near an emperor or a king or have any access to weapons or anything that would threaten that emperor or king. We see something like this in the scriptures in the days of Samuel, where the Philistines, who had actually had a kind of a political grip over Israel, some of the tribes of Israel, they didn't allow Israel to make swords. They actually had a weapons ban on Israel. And so this has been the way it's gone for a long time.
Well,
It was actually during the days of Samson.
yeah, and we even had that right with the Romans during the time of Yeshua, right? They weren't allowed
Right.
to own swords. They weren't allowed to walk around.
I think
with swords.
I think they were.
To a
I think they
degree.
were.
You think so?
They couldn't create their own legions, or I mean armies. They couldn't create their own
like
squadrons.
militias, but they
But-
could own
yeah.
swords like for wolves or for traveling or whatever, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Peter
but-
had something on him.
yeah, I do think they had swords, right? I just don't know how, like, if it would have been looked down upon for, like in that society for specific classes of people to own swords, you know what I mean? Because like I guess I kind of more think about it like it's in England where like, yeah, you can have a knife if it's a butcher knife, right? Nothing with a pointy end to it. But, who knows how much actual control they had during those times. I could totally look into it. But yeah, they always like to, take away people's right to defend themselves, in those type of societies. So, but you know what? It's interesting, right? Because what are we praying for? We're praying for a monarchy, right? We're praying for the King of Kings and the Lord of Lords to come here. But our hope is what the promise is, right? That he is going to give us the fruit of our labor, that we are going to, have these perfected bodies, that we're going to have those, those laws and things written on our hearts where we're not going to have to worry about teaching each other anymore. We're going to know and we're going to do those things. And so, that's such a different element, right, than to what we do. And the reason why I bring that up is I think that's where they kind of got their whole, where royal families, that we're like, God picked us, right? It says right here that he picks who the rulers are. Well, that means he picked us. That means we're divinely chosen. So that must means we're good, right? But then of course they ignore in scripture where he says he allows nations, evil nations, to do what they do for his own will. And we see that, come to fruition multiple times throughout scripture. So, yeah, you got, they're going to make their AI, they're going to make their bots, they're going to try to do their special boy things, but we know who wins in the end. So, praise y'all for that.
We do. And so the reason why I was kind of getting in and elaborating on some of that, some of that concept is because so many people have an ancient aliens view of history, but they don't understand that it wasn't just simply, oh, you're being visited by the quote unquote gods. No, that's a reframing by the History Channel's attempt for propaganda to push onto people an ancient aliens panspermia view of creation, which is a part of end time deception. But what I'm trying to explain though is if the real historical overview is that the tech that the rulers had, some of them were Nephilim, and I'm not talking about before the flood Nephilim, I'm talking about post-flood Nephilim who were just genetically enlarged mankind. They were also, many of them were the ruling class, and they would have the technology to have with the people, and it was a part of their governance. So the reason I'm saying all this stuff is if you're listening and you're stumbled across this for the first time and you're wondering, who's this dude trying to create an animated series about the days of Noah? How could he pull this off? We don't have any information about that time. Nonsense. We have a ton of information about the ways that the enemy has always worked to control mankind. And we have wonderful resources for ancient Israelite literature that goes in depth as far as that corroborates. I would say it's a first witness, and that the documents of the nations are corroboration. But for the person that may be skeptical, we have a lot of cogency. We have a lot of synonymous stories between the ancient Israelite scriptures and the ancient documents of the nations that do tell us how this type of technology was integrated with the governance of the people and who they worshipped. All of them had a patron god whom the Bible calls Satan. Their patron god they had by many different names, whether he was Ra or Zeus or someone else. And this was a god who controlled top-down authority, controlled not just the technology, but how the people were governed. This particular patron god the ancient cultures worshipped is the Azazel we see before the flood as a part of the rebellious angels who were deceiving mankind. And specifically in Enoch, 1 Enoch chapter 6 and 7, it says that Azazel was one that taught mankind warfare and the workings of metals. Yeah. And what do you see throughout all the earth after the flood? Constant warfare. With mining, new metals, tech from new metals, weapons, shields, new chariots, to the point today we have an Abrams tank shooting lasers. So none of this is discovered by mankind, if you will.
Right.
It's all systematically released to mankind to use
Right.
for the nefarious purposes of control for the one whom they already serve. And this is why Revelation talks about Mystery Babylon and the dragon, whom all the nations already are in awe of and already serve. And so because he's always been here since after the flood. He's the one that was worshipped as Jupiter at the Tower of Babel. He is Azazel, that is the one that was considered more clever than the rest of the rebellious watchers before the flood. So if I'm trying to create an animated series that isn't R-rated or isn't NC-17,
Yeah.
but I want to broach these topics about worldwide systematic oppression and control, which led to lots of death and lots of sin and lots of horrific types of sin. I just want to encourage the viewer, if you will, the potential viewer, that my goal is to introduce these characters in a way and address some of these themes. Obviously, I'm not going to be getting graphic and showing graphic things. It's not like an R-rated anime from Japan. And so, it'll be friendly so that people can watch it. All generations could watch it. But the idea is to teach these concepts that are already in the Bible. And Lord willing, when you walk away, when it's done, Lord willing, we get fully funded and we can actually get this thing done, because we're not going through traditional studios. We're not going through traditional investors. We don't want anyone to muddle this message or water down this storyline. But Lord willing, we'll get funded and be able to do all 8 seasons, and you'll walk away with a message of understanding everything you're looking at today in the real world, because you've seen it personified through this animation in the lifespan of Noah before and after the flood. That's our heart. That's our goal for the long term.
Awesome. And we're gonna show a trailer here soon. It's a more updated trailer that was shown on hanging Ken Heidebrick's Hanging on His Words. So we got that from Sean, so we can share with y'all. But I wanted to kind of bring something up. I've kind of always had this idea, and I think it would, it's not very fleshed out, but just kind of a macro level idea, where I always think it'd be interesting, like time travel, right? People going to the past, people going to the future, so much entertainment and content, around those areas. And though I don't really jive with it, I don't think people can change the time. That's something that y'all way established during day 4. So I don't know how in day 1, right? Like how much people can change that. But something I thought would be really cool, it almost along the lines of Superbooks, but back to the time that you're talking about, where as if like they think they're going to the future, but they actually go back in time during the days of of Jared, and they're going to these skyscrapers, these what are they called, sustainable development, circle cities like Atlantis and stuff, and like they think they're in the future, but actually they're in the past, because it's so true, right? Like this whole concept that this is the first time we've had towers and skyscrapers, the first time we've had flying crafts and blasters, right? It's not, guys. It's like this, like you said, nothing new is under the sun, and so we're just rehashing ideas, and and a lot of it, I feel like that's a great connection. What you're talking about in 7:8 with the days of Noah, is because I think very much so, definitely taking Jubilees into account, and the account of the sons of Noah coming to him and kind of describing their problem that they're having with the unclean spirits, and then that whole kind of Job-esque conversation between the evil one and the Yah about what they're going to do with these unclean spirits. So kind of taking that into it, I think it's very, very possible, and a reason why all of these occult religions, mystery religions, point to this central figure, this sun god, this, they always have their different cultural representation, but at the same time they're pointing to him. But I think that man, Nimrod, Gilgamesh, whatever you want to call him, was talking to, was the first sorcerer, you know, in that time era, who was communicating with these unclean spirits and making these pacts and finding this information and technology, which we see accumulate again in the second world order, which was his empire over the world at Babel. So yeah, it's all interconnected together, and really to understand eschatology, I really feel like you have to go back and see what was happening before, what happened in the first, you know, world order with the fallen angels, what happened with Nimrod and the in his era. And so we should see something similar, right? Or maybe the same person or the same people or beings behind the scenes causing these things, as we've seen happen throughout time. So yeah, it's such a you know, a deep and interesting topic to talk about for sure.
One of the things I hope to portray in seasons 2 through 5 is the slow unraveling of Azazel's mind, as he and the rest of the Watchers are continually looking for more efficient ways to rule over the people, because they realize that, you know, mankind's stubborn, and they don't like to be governed in their rebellious state. But this is the rebellious state that the Watchers have encouraged them to embrace, because they don't want them serving the Almighty. They don't want them walking orderly, doing the commandments, and walking in love with each other and creating peace. They're trying to create strife and chaos, but they're still figuring out best way to manage that strife and chaos. So the whole concept of order out of chaos, they're still perfecting how do we do this. And so you start to see the unraveling of Azazel himself going with different strategies and seeing the pushback from fellow Watchers who have different ideas about what they want to do, different types of deceptions for their own personal reasons or for their own ideas on how they can avoid the judgment of the Almighty that they know is coming. And they also, all of them know that Azazel was proclaimed by Enoch to have a different punishment. So this is you know, alluded to just a hinting of in the first episode, where you see Terrell is asking, where is the scribe? Where is Enoch? And so he's standing on the cliff, or he's hovering in his ship, looking at the family of Noah standing on the cliff edge, which is the borderline boundary of Eden, of the territory of Eden, not the Garden of Eden, but the territory, the land territory of Eden, on which the garden was planted. And so this is why the family of Noah is staying on this edge. And then you see Terrell, one of the rebellious angels, in his floating loge, and comes up to look at them and talks to them without aggressing upon them, because he has to stay outside of that boundary. But Enoch is inside that boundary. The family of Noah knows where he is, but the rebellious angels who received this punishment from Enoch, they don't know where he is. But they still, because the last time they spoke with him was when he relayed the judgment to them, and they have questions, but their questions weren't answered. The judgment was just given, right? So there's this leftover anxiety where they're like fuming. They're still in their rebellious, sinful mind, but they heard that Azazel's not going to be locked up with them until much later time period, because that's what First Enoch prophesied. And so there's internal strife between the Watchers that unfolds throughout the first 6 seasons.
Yeah,
there's a lot. It's a big story.
Yeah, and I bet that will literally, real quick, I bet that's obvious, right? Because they're gonna see, well, what about, why him? Why did we get in trouble and him not get in trouble, and how much strife that could come?
Oh, that sounds cool. I didn't even think of that as being played out. Oh, that's cool.
Plus the amount of time that they'll have to sit there and watch their children kill each other off. It's not just immediate judgment. It's something that they're going to sit there and have to be dragged through some consequences before they get literally dragged down into Sheol, into the pit.
Yeah, it's such a big story that the greatest challenge for me trying to put this on screen in an animation style, there's going to be limited. I have to take the storyline that, you know, and limit it to what we can show on screen within the budget that we have for animation. Guys, this is not like when you see animation cartoons on Hulu and Netflix and on Cartoon Network, that's millions of dollars put into those projects. If you've watched a Batman animation flick from DC Comics, millions of dollars have gone into that animation. So with the limited budget that we're doing the best we can in order to create something that will draw people's attention. It may not be the advanced 3D camera constantly swooping around every character and through every armpit and through it. Like, it may not be as slick entirely as some of the high dollar $30 million productions of animations you see today, but our goal is, will the storyline captivate people even if the animation budget is a little smaller, and then by a little I mean incredibly smaller. So the idea is that, can we show in a complicated world with hundreds of characters involved? And this is a huge problem for anyone that's writing a story. This is like one of the big mistakes that you can make when you're writing a story, is introducing too many characters in your first chapter or your first, episode, if you will. But the problem, if you don't introduce enough of them, you can't captivate people into the true depth of the story. And because, in what you're going to see in episode 1, and I highly encourage, guys, go subscribe to Days of Noah TV on YouTube, and you'll be able to see us release the official premiere of episode 1, is you're going to see that I'm trying to introduce some significant key players in Noah's family. Noah's the youngest of them all. So I even got Mahalalel still alive in this storyline at this point in history. And then you go down to Jared, and then Enoch. Where's Enoch? We'll talk about that later. He's not there. But then you go down to Methuselah and Lamech and Noah. So you've got like a whole group of Noah's family that are main protagonists. The spotlight isn't going to be on Noah only until you get into later seasons, because he's interacting with the world around him. He's got an entire family, and he's going through his own hero's journey. He's only learning as he grows, so you can understand how he comes to a point of maturity to be able to take on the tasks that the Father has for him later. And at the same time, they're facing a world full of rebellious angels. So if you've ever read the Bible and you know what angels can do, now imagine 200 of them that don't like you.
And know all the secrets of the earth, not all
and of the heaven.
Yeah.
Yeah. So like these guys watched creation happen. They were then sent to help mankind flourish and fill the earth, but they rebelled against Yahweh's mission for them, and they took things into their own hands for their own purposes. We get to flesh that storyline out too, Lord willing, in showing why did they rebel, what was the purpose therein, what's going on here. We have some hintings in the scripture that tell us this whole concept, and how much was Azazel involved in corrupting the minds of his fellow brethren angels, so he deceives them as well. And so there's a unique paradigm that I'm trying to build. So we did have to introduce quite a few characters in the first episode, but I promise you it's just still like, a small sliver of the world that we're trying to build, the firmament enclosed world that we're trying to build with this storyline. And for all of those who love biblical cosmology, I want to encourage you, because literally as up to in the first season, we're already going to be visiting a city called Hakoma, which means the wall in Hebrew. And that's literally a city built on the land that we would call Antarctica today, but it's literally built right next to the firmament. And they know it. And there's a reason they built it there intentionally. And so there's a whole conversation that involves, there's a whole experimentations that are happening. There's a moment where, Azazel is staring at one of the gateways to exit the firmament, because he's, as we see in Job and other passages, he can present himself to Yahweh at the top layer of the firmament. He's the only one of the rebellious angels that can actually leave the enclosure of the earth, where the others are stuck there. So there's a whole group of dynamics that we're trying to introduce in this first season, and some of the we got a lot of positive feedback when we did the exclusive premiere. We had a couple of negative feedbacks that basically they were saying, this feels like it's not a full story, and they were right. We didn't show you all the clips. We didn't show you the opening narration. We didn't show you also the other things that you will see in the official release of the first episode. But ultimately, we're building a world that's going to be multiple seasons, so you're not going to get all the information in the first episode. So just as a friendly reminder to everybody, that's we don't give away all the goods in just the first episodes. Like, we're building an entire world. We're developing characters. We're introducing cities, characters, places, wars, stratagems that are happening. And so we pray that people will give the first season a chance. We pray they'll go to daysofnoah.tv, the website, and help us support the project, make it a reality, so that you, yourself, your family, your children, your grandchildren, that you guys can have some positive entertainment to watch that's going to teach them scriptural concepts at the same time, and you don't have to worry about them being brainwashed into a rainbow coalition.
Oh, yeah. Oh, you're muted.
All right, there we go. Yeah, and one thing I wanted to kind of bring up is how relevant, even though this story happened, thousands of years ago, how relevant the things that were going on there with our times now, right? And the things leading up to it. We kind of already talked about that. And one of those things that I think is interesting is, with our next episode, we're going to be talking about AI, right? And the connection to that back in our past. But the reason is because all of these things that were going on then are coming back up now. And I feel like a lot of Christians in mainline Christianity, they kind of go to the alien aspect of it, the ancient aliens thing. And, I personally don't think that the biblical cosmology is a salvation issue, but I do think it could possibly be a salvation issue to those during the time of the Great Deception, because I feel like if you have an understanding, another thing you brought up is like people are gonna be confused about the things that they're seeing. And it reminds me of the scripture, people's for men's hearts will fail them for fear of the things that are coming upon the earth, right? Whereas if you know where we live and there's not these quote unquote extraterrestrials, aliens from different galaxies and stuff, you're not gonna fall for a lot of the kind of things going on. And then specifically with the whole lab grown meat thing, I know that's kind of it seems like it's left field. But they were doing those same types of things back then. And I've kind of asked you and brought this up before in other conversations, but I think it's kind of an important topic too, is the whole aspect of once, and I'm sure you plan to somehow show this in your show, is like during that whole war period between the Watchers and their sons, after men could no longer sustain them, they turn against the birds and the beasts and all the creatures of the earth. And then just what a coincidence that all around the world and all these different cultures we have these hybrids of humans and different creatures, whether it's Dagons or multiple hand, elephant head, dog head, all these different representations. And of course, through secular history, we're told that this is just all mythology. None of this is real. This was just metaphorical stories and the hero's journey. The Homer and the Iliad, and so I think that during the time they lost their sons. And one of their ways to bring back these sons, these unclean spirits, right? Because we know what happens to them when they die. So in the wars that they're fighting, right, something's happening to their spirits. I think, they kind of did a chimera. They made a biomechanical, some type of vassal for their sons' spirits to then indwell and kind of come back. And we kind of see that through like the phoenix symbology and some of the mythical creatures where it's actually a human soul that is kind of manifesting. Our kind of, I guess, a modern day is the skinwalkers, right? Where it was a human that learned how to do these things to kind of shed their human skin. So I know that was kind of... oh, go ahead, Marcia.
Well, are you saying there's going to be mechanical where they're going to infiltrate the souls, or?
Well, okay, let me
like clones.
Well, let me kind of give you an example, like the AI, the image of AI, and then in Scripture we got the image of the beast that's made, right? And then I think about back to Scriptures where I feel like they want to kind of try to mock God, which they can't do, where God says, you have these idols that have ears but can't hear, that have eyes that can't see, that have mouths but can't talk, and then you have these idols of gold and silver and wood, and all of those are, pretty essential components in computers. And so I just connect that back, and I do believe that the image of the beast will be some type of mechanical device that will be inhabited by an unclean spirit. That's where I'm coming from. People can feel free to disagree. What are your kind of thoughts about that, Sean?
Well, that kind of goes into the future now, into the 42, right?
And is that, and then, so I'm connecting it back because I think those exact same things were happening before. I think maybe the automaton was one of these mechanical devices that an unclean spirit could inhabit.
Yeah, so one of the things I hope to show, ABBA willing, in the episodes 1 through 6, is that Azazel is along with another rebellious angel called Ramiel. They are inventing things, right? They're looking for more efficient ways to deal with some of the issues that are arising. One of them being the problem of provision, because the giants were beginning to acquire the acquisitions of men, as well as the problems of the unclean spirit itself. And so knowing that because there's a process that we try to show happening where Azazel, I've written in the storyline so that Azazel's trying to find the writings that Enoch has been shown, and he's the scribe of righteousness, so he's a prophet. He's got the writings, and Azazel is actually trying to go and infiltrate Noah's family somehow so that he can gain access to the actual writings they have that they read and encourage each other with. It was like their first version of a Bible. Mm-hmm. And in some of these writings are the prophecies that talk about the Watchers getting their comeuppance, Azazel being dealt with at the second advent, where all the writings of Enoch and all the wisdom that's therein, to give people the encouragement to continue in the covenant so they can expect resurrection to eternal life and to not be swayed by the deceptions of these fallen angels. So this is what creates righteousness. Azazel is trying to get to these scrolls to see the rest of the prophecies because he didn't see them. He doesn't know them, but he knows how prophets work, and he knows Enoch was shown all these prophecies. He just doesn't actually know them, because if he can read them, then he too can have more details about what Yahweh is going to do in these future generations leading up to the flood. So we can start strategizing appropriately, right? And this is the kind of the backstory, if you will, of Azazel learning and growing in how he's going to try to deceive mankind, while the rest of his angelic brethren, he's placating them to a degree so that because they're on their own path to try to escape the judgment of Yahweh. And so this is where I'm trying to show Azazel is kind of like an inventor, and he gets some of the other rebellious angels that think like him in that regard, as far as innovating, so they can continue to test the creation and see what they can invent out of it in order for them to have better control over the people, as well as possibly figure out a way for themselves. But Azazel's just trying to figure out a way. He's actually just gaining the information he needs to fortify his position once the rest of the 200 are actually put away, and he's the only one remaining after the flood, because he eventually finds out that is his lot, right? And so this is where he's trying to prepare for that. So it's like part of that preparation is he's inventing and testing things. You will see him working on a Vajra. You will see him working on automatons. And this is the goal of him trying to figure out how to, just like Enoch says, how to manipulate the metals of the earth. And he teaches warfare for a variety of reasons. And so this is why even today, the enemy, the nations that give their allegiance to Ra, to Satan, to Azazel, to the dragon, they are obsessed with warfare and continually creating better, more efficient weapons of death. And so you're going to see like the beginnings of this obsession of that. And part of the AI is what some people think are called the smart missiles in certain passages, the intelligent arrows or the smart arrows that you see in certain prophecies. Okay. Some people think are modern day rockets or missiles, intercontinental missiles kind of thing. So it's interesting to me that you would see in this Satan character has been obsessed with warfare throughout history. He's the only one left over after the flood. Nations immediately start fighting again.
Oh yeah. Because
it's a part of the divide and conquer tactic of the enemy and the distraction, the problem reaction solution. And it creates famine, which causes people to centralize resources for top-down authoritarian control. It's a part of government authoritarianism. I talk about this in my Investigating Babylon series.
Yeah.
So all of it works all of it is a system that he's created for control. And different deceptions within that system are required. Some of those deceptions, like AI or like automatons, which is a very crude version of AI,
Totally.
those facets within that bigger system of deception, that piece of the pie, if you will. I believe as we get closer to the second coming of Christ, they're going to get more sophisticated, because there's no more time for him to waste in experimenting with different paths. It just means he's going to have to go all out at some point, because again, like, Revelation 12 talks about, he's full of.
Yep.
Well, it says he's fuel of fury. Woe to the inhabitants of the earth. These devils come down to you. He's fuel of fury, because he knows his time is short.
Oh yeah.
So it's no longer a season where he can test and experiment what works best for. Now he's just going to take what he knows does work with violent results and use it to the maximum, because he knows his time is short. And I think that's where we're going to see the most scary AI we've probably ever seen.
Oh.
Which to my understanding, he already possesses.
Yeah.
It's just you don't want to. This is what I personally think is a story from ancient Egypt, where he talks about the personification of the Eye of Ra being sent out on the people in the form of Hathor, who then he had to call back because she started slaughtering too many people, and it was going to cause a problem. And this isn't in the Hebrew scriptures. This is in the ancient Egyptian writings. But this is to me, if you understand what the Eye of Ra is, then you understand why I'm talking like this about AI that can become so dangerous. It literally becomes the mechanism by which the second beast forces everyone to worship the first beast, or else they are killed. So there's a lot there. It's just, again, all of it is just a higher level created angelic beings that have more. They've been privy to more information about how this earth works and how the heavens work in tandem with the earth.
Laws, the vibrations, the minerals, there's a reason why we know steel as opposed to why we don't have gold knives and as opposed to steel, right? Like, they have those detailed informations, but they also know the uses of gold and the uses of silver at such a higher degree. And you see that in the Enoch, right, where they basically spoiled us. And that spoiling, not only of the information, but the technology corrupted us. And that's why we got, the Clash of the Titans-esque, eras before the flood.
There's a huge history there. So, obviously, Days of Noah is going to be a fictional animation, but the whole premise, just like any storyline, it's built up off something, right? So the whole premise is that I'm trying to take as much historical and scriptural information as possible, create an engaging animation out of it that's inspiring and edifying for people to watch, for all ages, and that's our goal, is to teach Scripture in a format that will catch new eyes.
Awesome.
Fascinating.
Well, we're excited for it. I'm going to play this for y'all. So those on the panel, make sure you mute just so you can hear it and no one can hear it back through us. But yeah, we're going to check this out and let it play for a few, it's like, I think 30 seconds long, and then we'll go from there. So, yeah, here we go. Oops. All right, guys. I hopefully y'all enjoyed that. Oh, it's still playing. Oh, it's still going. Oops. Sweet. All right. So hopefully y'all enjoyed that clip. You can go check that out also on Ken Heidebrick's channel. But I'm gonna pull something up real quick because in order for this to become a real thing, guys, and to support it becoming a real thing, if y'all go to this video's channel, oh, let's go to live, pull this big up for y'all. So if y'all go to, let's see here, sorry guys, it's going a little on the slow side. Got lots of things open. So yeah, if y'all go down here, and I'm gonna literally copy paste this. Oh, weird. Why does it have? Oh, there it is. In order for this to be.
What you trying to do, Vader?
Sorry, I'm trying to give the Patreon. I'm about to send it right
Guys,
here.
go to daysofnoah.tv. It's a special website we've set up for the fundraising of the Days of Noah project. Very simple. Go daysofnoah.tv. If you want to do Patreon, you can find that through the video descriptions on the Days of Noah TV channel on YouTube. But the easiest way to support the project, go to daysofnoah.tv.
There you go, daysofnoah.tv. And it's DAYSOFNOAH. It's not pulling up for me when I do it. Days of Noah TV. You might want to check that. Oh, there it goes. I think it's just my internet is being super slow right now.
Well, it did show at the end
There
of
we
his whole page.
Yep.
Showed
But, I'm going to add this link to the description.
I see.
But again, guys, Dave, excuse me. Daysofnoah.tv for, oh, let's big screen that. And I'm going to post it into chat on both things. So please go support this, guys. We want to see it to be, come to reality so that, we have some good entertainment for our children, right? That we have some something to share others where we can talk about this important period that has purposely been hidden from us. Like this information, this these stories have been hidden from a lot of people, and so their conception of what the world was and what our history is far off than what it is. And so this may seem like, oh well, you're just creating an animated series. Well, guys, truth is stranger than fiction for sure. And so by showing it through the lens of fiction, we're probably getting closer to the reality.
Actually, I enjoyed so much listening to you explain it all, Sean. It was like you were telling a story for me, and I'm getting all excited. And I'm even getting like a wow. Oh, you'll be showing that, or didn't even think of it that way. So, yeah, it was exciting. In
Yes,
fact,
yeah, I mean, my goal is
or telling the story. Anyway,
hopefully people enjoy the writing. I mean, like I said, I'm amateur. I'm an amateur author. I've self-published a couple books in the past, and I used to want to be a full-time author before I started teaching the Bible on the YouTube. So that was what I prayed for many years, is the Father would help me to be a full-time writer, to write for Him. But I think He had other plans for me. But if I can do this and incorporate it into sharing His truth, then that's okay.
Yeah, and I'm sure you do find pleasure in writing, right? So of course you want that to be backed by the Father. You want to enjoy what you're doing, and it also be able to be, to teach people and edify them as well. So it's like a win-win situation. Why not do it? Definitely if you have the capability and the.
That's right. That's why, just in the similar way, like we're creating a commentary on the scriptures with the contextual study guide that we're doing, as well as we're going to be creating that takes writing involved. All the commentary that I'm writing that tries to surmise certain things, compare, explain. I mean, that's creative writing. So there's a lot of that in there in the contextual study guides. But as far as the Days of Noah series, in addition to the actual animated series, what we're planning on doing with each episode's release is to release a comic book version of each episode, as well as at the end of the season, the actual first season will be an entire book, a written book, which I'll release for people to read if they just like to read books. So that way we have, you know, a comic book, we're going to have an actual printed book, we have the entire series in animation format, and we're even considering coloring books because people keep requesting those. So there we got a lot of things with this project that are involved to help try to get the word out and hopefully make it engaging for folks.
And right, help with the resources required to make something like this happen. Like, you know, you've kind of said it before, by being self-publishing, by going, like, you're taking on so many different tasks, and it's a necessity, right? Because we're actually wanting to give people white pills and take away their black pills. We're trying to give people hope. We're trying to give people knowledge, you know, so that, you know, when I say we, I'm saying, you know, as a community, and especially when someone is going through the efforts to put this type of content out for the community. And again, guys, even though, you know, he's asking for people to help, you know, fund it, it's also going to be free to everyone. So it's not like he's just trying to make money from it, right? The resources are needed to make something like this happen, but he's also giving it out for free so that people can get this information.
Yes.
Yeah, the animated series will be free to watch. You're not going to have to join Patreon to watch it. It's going to be free uploaded on YouTube and Rumble and Lighthouse. Free to consume, free to share. We will have to sell the comic books are a printed thing, so we got to, you know, sell those. But the actual animated series will be free for people to watch. And the goal that you see at daysofnoah.tv when you go to donate, and that goal that you see for season 1, that doesn't include salaries for anybody, guys. That is literally just production budget. That is to pay everyone to make this a reality that you can enjoy with your family. So I'm not getting paid personally off that stuff. In fact, I've already put an extremely large amount of investment into this just to get to what you see right near at this point. So just keep in mind, this isn't about Sean trying to stack the coffers or get rich. This is like, how do we actually create something without going through the gatekeepers of this world that want to control all these messages and water down these messages or suppress these messages? How do we do it ourselves?
Or subvert them and use them for their, you know, kind of evil purposes. So it's like, that's, if we want to see change, guys, we got to support that change. We got to help that change grow. And again, you know, it's always the rough for the first person going through, you know, the barrier, but how many people are trying to get around the system and put out entertainment that's not only entertainment but also feeds your spirit and feeds your knowledge base upon what we're dealing with in creation, past, present, and future. And all of those are important topics. So, you know, really think about supporting it. And you know, at the very least, would you rather your children watching, you know, Blippi, or watching something where they, you know, or Superbook, right? And so Superbook, how many guys, how many out there are there animated series where it has a focus on God, let alone Torah observant ones, or let alone biblical cosmologist ones? So if we have the opportunity to support that growing and being something, we should definitely, you know, do our part. And I'm sure Sean would appreciate any amount from $5 to $5,000, you know, whatever it is, will help that this you know, his dream here of sharing this with y'all come to fruition. So thank you to all you do, guys, and I'm sure Sean is very appreciative of it as well.
Yeah, absolutely, guys. We already have patrons on the Days of Noah Patreon page. We have had some very significant donations so far to the daysofnoah.tv fundraiser page. So we're excited. And if you want to be a part of this and you actually get extra content that we don't upload on socials or on the channel, that's through the Patreon page. You get like extra artist work that Drew creates, behind the scenes stuff, and for as little as $3 for a Patreon membership. For that, you can have access to some of that stuff. So yeah, we're trying to make it interactive for folks, and we're trying to give you value for helping support the project, and also just, you know, I guess at the same time, just helping bring realization to projects like this. These are not small things. So, you know, normally what you would have to do is I would have to take a good, like this first episode, you take your little sample, maybe even not this first episode, because that's, you know, like 18 minutes long. So you take like a 3-minute clip, and then I would shop it around to different animation studios and different investors to try to get this done to where they would want to throw $5 million at the project. But that means they then have control over how you write the story and what they put and produce through their company name. So I created my own company, KIC Media, and it's an LLC, and this is the company that owns the project, and that way we can control every facet of the message, the output, the distribution, but that means it also is a grassroots effort. So it takes all of us working together to try to make something like this a reality. So for everyone that is already helping us, you guys are super awesome. Thank you so much. And for everyone that's interested in it, thanks for considering it. And hopefully go check out daysofnoah.tv on YouTube and Rumble. Check out daysofnoah.tv, the website. And then if you're interested in extra behind the scenes content, go to Patreon Days of Noah.
Absolutely. Sweet. All right. Well, we got a little more time. I think we got around, about 20 minutes before we're going to wrap up the show. So, Marsha, if you want to get to a place when you're ready to pull from the names that you've seen, we'll go ahead and pull that name if you want to get that ready. But before we do, I wanted to talk about a couple other things. You're a man of projects, and we all, thank you for taking on all these tasks. But you kind of mentioned that Days of Noah is going to be on Lighthouse. So kind of give you, if there's any update that you can give us, we're all excited for the platform. So any progress that you can share. I know y'all are, doing something like this, right? So we just talked about an animated series and trying to do something like that. When you add in a social media, a platform where you can do it all in one place as opposed to, have it scattered out through all these different places, and with places that are constantly, censoring, truth seekers, censoring certain topics that they don't like. Like, I can't even imagine of all the different loopholes and things, or not loopholes, but all the red tape that you have to get through with it. So everyone, please have, the graciousness for Sean that, these aren't just easy, simple tasks such as making a meme and sharing it on Facebook. So with that being said, what do you have, if anything, to share with us about Lighthouse?
Lighthouse is I'm in meetings every week for Lighthouse.
Still.
And it is being completed and done. Both the mobile, we did a beta testing back in this past August, a couple months back. I got some good feedback, and they actually decided, because some of the feedback, and they actually decided to kind of reorganize some of the homepage for the desktop. But the mobile has continued to be tweaked and set up, and every single page, every single button, every single option. And believe me, there's thousands of them that they've been tweaking to make sure that everything's good and ready to go. And their goal is, the first of next year. So, but ultimately, we're constantly testing this stuff. In fact, supposedly as of next Monday, we're supposed to be doing our final internal testing with me and some of the owners, where we go through everything. Every button's been tweaked in the right place. Every shadow is supposed to be there. You know what I'm saying? Everything works. Everything looks the way every font size is exactly the way it's supposed to be. And so we're excited about it. I can't really give you any kind of preview or anything. All I can really do is just show you. I can't really show you that unless hang on a second. I gotta, let me edit edit something real quick.
Stuff.
I can just give you kind of a screenshot of the mobile and how it's going to look in the mobile. And where can I put this? In the chat, in the VC chat?
Yeah. I'm picking it out of a boat.
Can you guys see that in the chat?
Give me 1 second.
Oh, wait.
In the VC chat? No, I didn't put it in there. Where did I put it? It's in your...
The ECF live chat? Yep, I got it.
Yeah, I think I put it in there.
Yep, I'll pull it up. It's open in browser.
Oh, hey, hang on. Don't pull that up, okay?
Okay, I won't.
I don't know why it didn't give you the clipped one. Because I'm clipping out the URL because it's a testing URL. One second.
Okay.
Let me upload a different one.
Okay, no worries. Good quick call on that. Sweet, yeah. So
All right,
you're
so I
looking to
erased
get
that one. Now you can show this one if you like.
Okay, let's open this.
This is the mobile. So yeah, we're creating an entire social media. It's a mixture of YouTube, Facebook, and Etsy or Amazon sellers. So in addition to, like, you know, if you have merch that you're selling, if you're watching this on Lighthouse in the future, you could be able to literally to go to your store, purchase your merch, and never leave the video. You could go to your CF Lighthouse page and look at your latest posts and never leave the video. You could, you know, go shopping inside of the Lighthouse Market, and your video follows you at the top of the screen. You never have to stop watching your video. So it's we're excited about the features that this can have. And tonight, Vader, like I have my own YouTube channel. Vader has his channel. He reached out to me, said, "Hey, you want to be a guest on the channel?" So tonight, I had to take this channel link and then announce it on my socials. But on Lighthouse, you can, behind the scenes, creators can get together and they can collaborate with each other on mutual videos, on posts, and even on products they sell, so that each other's audiences has exposure to those things instantaneously. So they can create deals together. They can, as far as like if you have a shirt that you want to sell, Vader Bear, like if you want to sell that hat in my marketplace during my videos playing on my channel, and then you say, "Hey, I really like this hat, and people really like this hat." Say you make a hat with your logo, the puzzle piece on it, right? And you're like, "Man, I really like this hat, but I've got a smaller audience than you, Sean, and I would like for, you know, whenever people see this hat, they buy it, they love it. Would you let me show this hat in your marketplace while your videos are playing?" And I say, "Sure, just give me 5%, 10%, 20%, whatever you want to negotiate behind the scenes between two content creators." And you can give instant exposure to someone else's platform and audience, and then you guys just split the proceeds. And there's so many ways that businesses can collaborate, content creators can collaborate, that you can instantly share your uploaded video with a larger channel's audience, so they're notified of your uploaded video. There's so many awesome ways that we built it for creators, because literally I'm one of the main consultants as a creator on this new social media, building a platform for creators. So that way creators can be sustained, creators can enjoy what they're doing, and that means you're going to get a better product for people that are watching in the audience.
Yeah.
As opposed to where we are now, YouTube, where they're constantly putting their thumb down continually on creators. Stealing advertising money from them, stealing opportunities from them. You know what I'm saying? It's not the same. Demonetizing channels, erasing channels altogether with no warning just because they don't like the political information on there. Like you won't have to worry about any of that nonsense on Lighthouse. So.
Amen for that, brother. Well, awesome.
Did you get that? Did you get that image that I sent you?
I showed everyone on the stream.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, it's very very clear, very
Sorry, go ahead.
No, I was just saying it's very clean. It looks very very nice, and I know all of us here on the panel are excited. I know a lot of content creators out there that get that thumb down on them from the YouTubes and the Grabbler tubes. So I'm definitely stoked for it. And like so many times, you know, like, do they come after us for stuff like, you know, other YouTube channels, right? You know, those high recommended ones, they can use as much copyrighted material as they want. They still are there. You know, there's no objection. But then you start talking about truth. You start talking about topics that are hush hush or taboo within society. All of a sudden, YouTube doesn't want to recommend you to people, which, you know, whatever,
Right.
Whatever YouTube, you're gonna create your own destruction. You know, like a lot of these corporations do.
And YouTube's even started a new thing where it's not just suppressing your algorithm based on their preference. Now they're just in general suppressing the algorithm for certain YouTubers so that they entice you to use their new promotion system. So that basically they're removing the general premise that was YouTube, which was if people like your video, they recommend it to more people to you on their platform. They recommend your liked video to more people for free. Now they've decided we're not going to do that with everybody.
You gotta pay
So they
up.
stopped. Now they're saying they have a new promotion system to where they'll say, "Oh, you want to reach more people? You have 5,000 people that follow your channel. We're not even going to show your new video upload to all 5,000 of those people. You want to reach more people? then the 5,000, well, you need to pay us an actual marketing fee, which is what they call promotions. So then you literally have to pay them $100, $50 to get it more impressions of your video to more people outside of your algorithm. So this is the new game that they've started. We've tested this game on our channel, and it's literally the reason why we've grown exponentially this year. Is we've invested as a marketing investment, just like you would have had to in the past with Google AdSense. You can do it in-house with YouTube. And basically it puts your videos in front of more people, and they can decide if they like them, watch them, and want to subscribe. So we've been actually paying for people to see the Investigating Babylon series, and they've been subscribing like hand over fist as fast as they can.
It's almost like YouTube doesn't give them the information unless you pay them to do it. Exactly. And it's even your subscribers. It's even your subscribers that
right.
you have 50. Let's just say you have 50,000 subscribers. They're giving you 5% of those are getting a notification on their mainstream when you're live. It's ridiculous. That's
literally why we created the Kingdom in Context app, was because people continually told us we didn't get notified that you were live, that you did a new video, that you did a debate. We didn't get notified. YouTube didn't notify us because they don't. They will notify up to 10% of your audience, if that, and then they expect you to go out and promote it on socials otherwise.
Yep.
That's for the channels they don't like. The big channels they do like, they're going to put them on the front page of YouTube, and here's a dude putting on lipstick. They're going to put that on the front page of YouTube.
And they're going to fly you out to the YouTube headquarters and give them bonuses and meet all the people so that if they have trouble, they can just give them a call. It's
not about whether your content is good or not.
Nope.
It's about what they like as a personal preference, and usually there's a lot of politics.
Are you towing the line?
Religion involved. So ultimately, what we've shown through proof of concept is that the topics we're talking about on Kingdom in Context, the production that we've put into talking about them through our video production, people do respond to that if they even just see it. So we've literally, just with spending several $100s in what would typically be like, you want to go, if you're a business, you go buy a billboard so people can see you and contact your business or go to your website. We've just been paying a little bit of money to put our videos in front of more audiences on YouTube, and people are subscribing like super quick. The percentage rate of impressions to subscribers has blown me away. Like, it's actually encouraged me to realize, okay, so people do like what we're producing. They do like what we're talking about. They just were not able to see it before because YouTube didn't want them to see it.
Yeah. It's crazy.
There's a lot of people that are.
Oh, go ahead.
Sorry, go ahead. I was just going to say real quick, there's a lot of people that are coming at us saying that that Kingdom in Context is paying for subs. You cannot pay for subs.
Nope.
You cannot. You literally will get your channel taken away immediately. I'm paying YouTube to show my videos to more people than they normally do, and then upon their own volition, those new viewers are deciding to subscribe, comment, like, and share.
Well, and people they know. Okay, so you pay, right? You're seeing change, right? And that's because behind the scenes, they already know the people to show your videos to. They're just not unlocking that. You have to unlock that with greenbacks for them to actually just show, where 5 years ago, it would have been in YouTube's best interest to show everyone, hey, look at this guy.
Right.
But now that they kind of have their top players, their top YouTube, official stamped of approved, people that they can funnel to, it's no longer a free game, right? Now it's only free to those who toe the line, and it's very unfortunate. So thankfully we're gonna have Lighthouse sooner than later that is gonna let us get around that silly red tape and be able to really share and grow and learn. So awesome. All right, I'm gonna jump over to Marsha real quick. Marsha drew a name.
Picked a number. I picked a number. Oop.
Okay, what is that? What is
11, which is, let me look at the list here, DGD3.
All right, say that again.
DGD3.
Still in chat,
whoever it is.
DGD3. Are you here?
If not, I'll pick another number.
DGD3, correct?
Yes.
If you're here, DGD3, please say something in chat. and I'd like to. I just want to make sure you're here, because if you're not here, I'm gonna pick someone who is here so that I can make sure they have the information they need.
Yeah.
Here.
Okay, let me speak up. Four. I'm going.
All right.
Whoop. Oh, the next number, if he doesn't do it, is 33.
Oh my God, Illuminati confirmed.
Yeah. Uh-oh, it's cultish. This is a cult. We've got 3.
Illuminati confirmed.
Illuminati confirmed.
How dare you?
Indeed.
Just in case.
They are viewing not be near the screen though.
Schamberger. Schamberger.
Okay.
Shamgar.
DGD3 or Schamberger.
Or Shamgar.
Oh,
is
Shamgar.
Shamgar.
All right, well,
Shamgar.
Shamgar.
Shamgar, I think.
I see Shamgar. They said they are viewing
Shamgar's
not
in
be
there.
near the screen. So Shamgar, I am going to Circle of the Earth Fellowship
Yay!
at
Winner!
gmail.com. Shamgar, please email me there with your address and your name and address, and I will get that Zephyr Bible sending your way. Of course, if you already have one and you would like to give your role to someone else, that's fine. If you'd like to keep it, that's fine.
Okay, wait a minute. He did say, or she said something. Nah, thanks. Thank you, but they're good.
Okay,
So I'm picking another.
So we're gonna roll another one. Thank you, Shamgar.
Because you call them Shamgar.
Oh, I can't do that because I don't think we have a. I have put the in. Okay, 17. Okay.
17. 17 is
Tell you what 17 is. Jeff Porter.
Jeff Porter.
Porter.
If you're in chat, say something. Jeff Porter, if you're in chat, say something, please.
I didn't put my name in there because I don't need it.
Jeff Porter, if I see you in chat, sir, you will be the winner.
And if you want it, whatever.
And if you
Anyway.
want it, if you're not, if you're not in chat, we're gonna pull another name
Tyler.
from the hat. That's not
Give it
Jeff,
to Oops. Tyler says.
Give it to. Okay, I got another. Let's see.
All right.
Oh
Oh,
my
Jeff's here.
God, we're gonna keep on
Oh,
going.
Jeff Porter. Jeff Porter.
Jeff
There
Porter.
he is.
It's Jeff Porter. I'm here.
Okay.
All right, Jeff. Please email. If you want it, Jeff, please email Circle of the Earth Fellowship at gmail.com with your name and your address, and we will get that sent out to you. Please let me know now if you do not. Okay, yes, please send. Okay, awesome, Jeff.
Okay, we're done.
We're done, guys. Congratulate everyone. Everyone give a round of applause for Jeff winning the Zephyr Bible. That was a thanks from us to y'all for subscribing.
Yep.
For subscribing to the channel and helping this community grow. Our next giveaway will be at 2,000. We've already jumped about 10-ish subscribers tonight, so thank you to all the new subscribers. If you're in here, guys, 78 people in here, please, 79 people, please throw up the thumbs up. It does help the channel. It does help the channel grow, as well as like, share, subscribe, all that jazz that you see. Ooh, where is it? See right here, and help the channel grow. Awesome, sweet. So congratulations, Jeff. Please email me for that Zephyr. Sweet. All right, let's wrap it up, guys. We got just a few minutes left until it's our 2 hours. So let's go ahead and say our goodbyes. So I'll start with you, Maggie, our quiet sister, but we love her presence. If you'd like to say your goodbyes, dear sister.
Thank you for having me on, Vader. And on, good job, and keep up the good work.
Oh yeah.
Thank you.
We'll save you last, Sean. We'll jump over to Marcia.
Good night, everyone. This was fun. Got a little hectic at the end there, but
And you got
Joe Vader.
and Sean explained it to you, right? So you got that. So now you got even more hype for the show coming out because you get a little perspective of where he's coming from with it. So,
And
sweet.
poor Schamberger is now going to be Schamberger from now on.
Hamburger.
Schamberger. Sweet. All right. Well, Brother Robert, if you'd like to say your goodbye, sir.
Really, I am excited to see this come to fruition. I don't think there has been a program like that, cartoon or otherwise,
Right.
that covers the time of Noah like this. So yeah, I'm excited to see it. So yeah, looking forward to it.
Question. Sean,
Thank you.
sorry, butt in just like that. Is the book going to be more interesting than the movie?
The book is going to be PG-13. Let's just put it like that. Even like in the first episode, I had to change some details because, you know, we just, yeah, there will be blood in the book.
Oh.
Books are always more in depth and interesting.
Yeah,
That's
lots of more detail, like the whole battle scene. You're gonna see like a whole nother. I mean, there's a whole scene that we had to cut out just from the battle itself. After Rob Danan and Terrell start chasing down Jared, and there's a whole moment where they talk about Azazel. In the book there's a moment when they get to the battlefield that Azazel grabs a dismembered arm and starts slapping dead bodies with it, laughing gleefully. Like there's PG-13. The book will be PG-13. The animated series will be for all ages.
There you go.
Awesome.
Oh.
Sweet. All right. We'll jump over to Kyle, brother.
Yeah, shalom everyone. Have a good night. Sean, that was awesome. I'm glad we can know what to expect next year for a virtual conference and hopefully Lighthouse coming here soon. And I am excited to watch more of the Days of Noah. Most Christian, studios that produce any content will not touch that topic with a 10-foot pole.
Nope.
So, and if they do, it's likely not to, scripture being kept in context, and it doesn't fulfill the story whatsoever. So just wanted to say thanks, man. Your stuff's always awesome to watch, and appreciate you being on.
Thank you.
Absolutely. All right, Sean. I'll let you say your goodbyes. We appreciate you being here, brother.
Yeah, thank you, man. I appreciate you having me on, being able to talk about this, and we're gonna end with a bang. I think I've done enough talking about the Days of Noah tonight so far, as well as if you haven't already been aware of Kingdom in Context and everything that we're doing, go check us out on YouTube. But real quick, I'll just throw this up here for Vader Bear, because I don't know if you've living in Salt Lake City. Have you ever seen this?
Oh, let me click on this. Yes, they're on top of all the temples.
Okay.
Is that Michael on
What's
Mother
Joseph
Babylon?
Smith standing on?
That's
on a
on
sphere.
On a ball.
What's Joseph Smith standing on?
On a sphere.
All right, now look at this. This is called the Liahona. So this is from the Book of Mormon, a quick reference to what in the Book of Mormon, it's a brass ball with two pointers that give directions as a compass. Supposedly in one of these books, like the Book of Alma, they found this thing in the woods, and it helped these persecuted traveling ancient Mormons from like 3,000 years ago find their way. And the Lehi found a brass ball with two spindles, and it pointed the way that Lehi and his family should go. The ball worked according to faith and diligence. Benjamin gave the ball to Mosiah. The ball or director was called the Liahona. The Liahona was compared to the word of Christ.
It's right.
It doesn't get more obvious, guys. Like, if you understand your scriptures and you understand what the enemy's been showing you this whole time, literally the analogous direction of spiritual wisdom that has to be used with faith to the ancient Mormon false version of history is that they had a sphere that directed them, that they consider the words of their God. So,
Dude, Joseph Smith even believes that he received a Uma and a Therma To that's
Yes.
one of the stories, right?
Yeah.
And one thing I
Yeah.
will say about Mormonism, at least they co-opted the whole,
I think you said that
angel-
actually. I think you misspoke. You said Uma Thurman, but you meant to say Urim and Thummim.
Urim and Thummim. Yeah, sorry.
Yeah, Joseph Smith didn't receive a Uma Thurman.
Well, yeah, and I think what I think is might be seductive about that is because they at least claim that an angel came and gave them this information, whereas like the Catholics, right, they don't have anything like that. They're just like, oh, I'm the Pope, I'm the victor of Christ. They don't have that, kind of repeat of what we've seen in Scripture. So it is very seductive for Dean. Sweet. All right, guys. Well, again, thank you, Sean. Thank you, Maggie and Marsha and Robert and Kyle for all joining us around this roundtable. We do appreciate you, Sean, for joining us as well. We had fun talking about all the different projects that you worked on in the past year and the ones that are coming. And we're all thankful for all the work that you do for the community. And so we wanted to celebrate that. We wanted to tell you thank you for that. And we really do. We really are appreciative and grateful for all those tasks that you put upon yourself for everyone. So that being said, everyone, I hope y'all, those who are celebrating Hanukkah, have a happy Hanukkah, and all of y'all have a great week coming up. And until next time, remember that Abba loved you first, everyone. Good night, everyone.
Good night.
Bye.
All right.
It's your glory, conceal the mystery. You give us the honor to search a matter.